win. Michigan drops their league opener in Wisconsin. We'll have the highlights. We'll also talk with Michigan defensive coordinator Jim Herman about the ups and downs of his chosen profession. And we'll look ahead to a red letter game every season. We'll scout the Spartans of Michigan State. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Sirius Satellite Radio. By State Farm, providing insurance and financial services. And by Chevrolet. Chevy drives the Motor City. See your Detroit area Chevy dealers today or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, the Wolverines dropped their opener in Wisconsin 23-20, a tough Big Ten opener in a tough place to play, and yet, Lloyd, another one that in many ways got away. I mean, I give Wisconsin credit. They played hard, they played well, but there were a lot of opportunities for Michigan they didn't make good on that might have made it a different outcome.
Well, Wisconsin did. They played well, particularly in the second half, but we had too many opportunities that we let get away from us, Jim. And in a game like that, the turnovers, the field position in the second half, we just didn't do enough offensively to keep our defense off the field.
Even a few first downs in there would have been good, but it was one of those things where it kind of snowballed on you, and you couldn't make plays late that might have put the game away.
Well, we gave up a big kickoff return late in the game. We had 9 penalties in this game. We lost the turnover battle 2-1. And we had some scoring opportunities that we just didn't get the ball in the end zone.
Take a look at the highlights. We go to the first half. They got the ball first, and they get a couple yards. They do some good things with Calhoun, but overall, you did a nice job and you stop them.
Well, defensively, we have not given up a big play this year, and certainly in this game, we did a great job here. Lamar Woodley beats the tackle around the corner, causes a fumble, but fortunately for Wisconsin, they get the ball back.
Then you get the ball down deep in your own territory, and you get out with a real good run here from Max Martin.
Well, it's a well-blocked play, and Max found the hole and running very hard. He got us out of there into really good field position.
Great catch here with Tyler Ecker to get a first down.
Well, that's a big third down play, and Tyler, not many guys can make that catch, Jim.
And continuing this drive, you get a nice scramble from Chad Henne. He's doing a little more of this.
Well, Chad has made some plays this year. This is a good scramble when everybody's covered for a first down.
And then Jason Avant makes a nice play on a little hitch cut here.
Yes, he does. It's taking what the defense gives and gets us down into the red zone, 1st and goal.
And this is where, you know, it doesn't happen. On 4th and goal, you choose to go for it. I think it was a good call. Tell me your thinking on it.
Well, when you're on the road, 4th and 1, we talk about this all the time. That's something that we feel in terms of being a championship team. You've got to be able to score from the 1-yard line.
Didn't get in, but the defense continues to play well. Here's a sack, and this ultimately then leads to your first score.
Well, the great news about that stop is our defense did hold. We got decent field position again. Here, Mario Manningham, who's really starting to emerge, makes a great catch. We stall, and Garrett Rivas kicks a 44-yarder.
And that puts you up 3-0 in the second quarter. And then, again, you work the passing game from Chad Henne to Jason Avant.
Well, we have good protection most of the day. There, Chad stands in, makes a great throw under pressure. Mario Manningham makes a great block. And we're moving the football. Kevin Grady busts through for good yardage, and we're down in the red zone again.
And this time you score on a slant cut.
Well, Chad, good protection, and Jason beat the corner inside man coverage, and we're ahead 10-0.
A 10-0 lead at this point, and this is where Wisconsin starts to drive, and they do it through the air.
Well, late in the second quarter, they put together a good drive here. They did a good job dumping the ball to the backs. And here they hit a big receiver for a first down. We hold, Jim, and force forced Wisconsin to settle for a field goal.
And it's a 10-3 game at that point. Now, with about 3 minutes left, you get the ball back, and this is a great drive right before half to put some points on the board.
Well, we pick up good yardage here with a draw play. Max Martin running, gets out of bounds and stops the clock. And then we make a great play here. Mario Manningham makes a great individual effort. Ball's underthrown, he comes back, he's interfered with there and still manages to catch the ball down inside the 10-yard line.
But you can't punch it in, so you go to the field goal.
Well, we had a problem down there. We had a delay of game penalty and had to settle for a field goal without getting a shot at the end zone.
13-3 at halftime, and you tell me there was a miscommunication between the officials and you on the bench, or you might have taken another shot into the end zone on third down rather than kick it.
Well, Jim, the play clock ran down on our second down play to 6 seconds. And we had a penalty, so we were under the impression that it was going to be 6 seconds left on the clock, third down from the 11-yard line. At that point, we put our field goal team onto the field. But we were not notified that they put 3 seconds back on the clock.
So if there were 9 seconds and you knew it, you would have gone another shot.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. When we come back, we'll take a look at the second half highlights. Stay with us. That's coming up next right here on Michigan Replay. The Wolverines had a good lead at halftime, and then you come out in the second half, and I think, you took the field goal at the end of the first half. I didn't know about the 9 seconds, 6 seconds when the referees didn't notify you.
Well, that's not saying we would have made it, but
right,
we would have
got one more shot at it. The other thing is that I thought you did that anyway because you knew you were getting the ball at the beginning of the second half.
Well, we told Chad, the main thing there was don't take any chances because we do get 3, and we got the ball to start the second half. And Jim, we dropped a big third down play that would have given us good field position, and then Wisconsin took over, and they moved the ball much more. They made some adjustments at halftime, and but on this first drive here, we hold. And they just eke a field goal in there to make it 13-6.
13-6 at that point, and then we come down to the end of the third quarter, and they start on another drive.
Well, good yardage here, running the ball off tackle. Our safety, Will Sperringer, makes the tackle. Here on a big third down play, they use an old swing screen where they crack our safety and get a guy out there and pick up a big first down. Here, our corner doesn't get up quick enough, and more good yardage. And now they're beginning to wear us down a little bit.
But the one good thing here, you make a play on a third and short, you force them to kick again, so you maintain the lead even though they make a field goal.
Well, I thought Lamar Woodley made a play there, an absolutely sensational
He's been having a great year.
Yes, he has, and he played as well as you could ask anybody to play.
Now you get the ball back and you start pounding it out from the goal line, and this is the big mistake that cost you.
Well, we were 2nd and 1 there. Max had picked up the first down on a play that was well blocked, and he gets hit and fumbles the football, and Wisconsin takes the ball to the perimeter again. We're a little bit slow, and Calhoun scores a touchdown, and Wisconsin takes the first lead of the game.
And it's 16-13, and this place is going crazy at this point. And to add misery to it, Chad makes a bad throw here.
Yes, he does. He comes back, throws the ball behind Jason, and they got now the ball, the lead. They get the ball at the short end of the field, and we get great pressure there. And Stocko, the Wisconsin quarterback, throws the ball, and Grant Mason hangs on to it. We get the ball back.
And then you go to the razzle-dazzle to get a big play and take the lead back.
Well, Terry Malone made a great call here because we needed a big play desperately, and a well-executed play. We hand the ball to Kevin Grady, he tosses the ball back, and we held the corner just for a second. Mario Meadham, perfect throw. We got the lead, 9 minutes to go.
And now you're inside 2.5 minutes, and they're beginning to put their final drive together.
Well, they do. They execute well here. Again, running the ball outside for good yardage and possessing the clock and running the clock
And
down.
it's pretty much all this Calhoun kid as a receiver and as a runner.
Well, they after that interception, we knew they were not going to throw the ball unless they absolutely had to. They had time, but we just couldn't get them into a fourth down stop. Here on third down, our linebacker gets a little bit too deep into the end zone, and they execute the quarterback draw for a touchdown to win the game.
23-20 is the final, and this is tough every time because the kids played hard. They played in a rough environment there in Madison. Tell me what your discussion was with them afterwards, because I know they had to be devastated.
Well, I think anytime you start the Big Ten season with a loss on the road and you got to come back and go back on the road again and play in another big game, in some ways that helps. The fact that there's nobody feeling sorry for you, we all understand that. And what I told them after the game, Jim, is this. I thought they played very hard. And I thought they played very aggressively. The thing that we didn't do is we didn't make some plays, and there's some things that we need to get straightened around if we're going to be the kind of team we want to be.
And it comes down to the fact that the plays are there to be made. It's got to be executed properly, right?
Well, I think that's always a part of it. We had opportunities. We left too many points on that field, particularly in the first half. And then we left our defense on the field too long in the second half. So, and that part of that was the field position. Part of it was that Wisconsin played extremely well, but we just didn't do the things that we're capable of doing.
All right, when we come back, we will meet defensive coordinator Jim Herman, talk about his chosen profession. But first, we hear from Garrett Rivas that he was hoping for one more kick late in that Wisconsin game.
I'm always expecting to get a shot at it. And the moment I stopped believing, was the moment that we're going to get beat. But today I was hoping, we made the big plays in the big time, and, it just didn't happen.
It has become the criticism du jour these days. You've all heard it, and maybe some of you have even said it. The Michigan defense isn't what it used to be. That comment is heard by all the coaches and the kids, and it hurts. Defensive coordinator Jim Herman has heard it a lot recently, but this guy will never buckle under the heat. His take on all this is typical of a hard-nosed defensive coach.
If you're in this profession long enough, you're going to have those days. But I think you need to temperament that some in the sense that, it's still a team game. We're all in this thing together. Offense, defense, special teams, coaches, everybody. And when you win, everyone wins. When you lose, everyone loses. What really matters is in our building, the Michigan football team and the coaches, really that's the only people as a family that you listen to. And amongst us, we realize that, hey, we made some improvements. There's still some things that we need to improve on.
Herman and his staff have a most difficult job, too. They face offenses from one week to the next that are totally different. It requires a special kind of coach and player.
So you need to have kids that can adapt, who can go from 1 week playing a big-time running team and 2 tight ends and 2 backs, and then all of a sudden the next week you're dealing with 4 wide receivers and an athletic quarterback and a running back, and you have to be able to adapt. And you, as defensive coaches, you have to put people in positions that allow them to be successful, and you have to adapt your people. So it's difficult.
In addition to all of that, the rules makers have legislated more offense into the game. Fans want to see more scoring, so it becomes tougher to defend. But Herman refuses to hide behind anything that may even come close to an excuse.
You still, as a player, defensive player, you've got to attack the blocker, you've got to get off the blocker, and you've got to get to the football. That hasn't changed in the 126 years of football at Michigan. It's still a matter of my will against your will, and I'm going to get to the ball, and you're between me and the ball.
And that's Jim Herman's take on defense. And it is a tough job. And sometimes I think fans don't understand. Kids go to school. You only get them for, what, 20 hours a week, I think?
Well, you meet Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You get about an hour and 15-minute meeting before practice. And essentially, other than watching the game film on Sundays, that's all the meeting time you have. So the things he talked about, it not only puts a lot more pressure on a coach, and the coach understands that, but the real problem, Jim, is it puts a lot more pressure on defensive players because there's always been a standard, particularly here, that you don't give up a lot of points. But today, this football has changed dramatically. And if you look across the country, we're going to play Michigan State this week. They've scored at least 40 points in every single game. And so that's going on across the country. And so it is challenging.
Adaptable kids, he talked about, you've got teams that will go 4 wide, but that's the week after you play a team like Wisconsin, which has got a 260-pound fullback that runs one back, and they pound it.
Well, and all the things that you learn one week, you come back in the next week, and they mean nothing because now you've got a new problem, you've got new formations, and you've got an entirely different running attack and passing attack.
I can tell you this, it is tougher to coach in college football week to week because you see so much different stuff on the defensive side than it is the NFL. But that's what they're faced with, and Michigan is faced with a big task this coming week in Michigan State. We'll come back and scout the Spartans, but first we hear from Captain Pat Massey, who says it's about leadership now.
It's on me, it's on Jason, it's on all the fifth-year seniors. You know, the team's going to go with us. The team's going to go with, you know, these older guys, so it's up to us, not only, you know, off the field, but we got to perform on the field. And, you know, it's about stepping it up and not feeling sorry for yourself. So we got a big game next week.
It's Michigan versus Michigan State week. It's always a great week, and Coach, you said earlier in the show, this is a team that hasn't scored less than 42 all season long in 4 of their games, and on Saturday against Illinois put over 700 yards of offense on the board.
Well, they're an outstanding offensive football team. There's no question. They got a lot of weapons. They've got a good scheme, and they play extremely well together. And
they're extremely tough. They'll be playing the game in East Lansing, which is a tough place to play, very much similar to what you saw on Saturday at Camp Randall. But the guy that really makes this offense go is quarterback Drew Stanton. You saw him last year here in Ann Arbor.
Well, there's no question he's developed into a great quarterback. He's a guy that can throw the football, and anytime you overload the defense, he can run the ball, the option play away from it. And, of course, he's a great threat to scramble, and they move the pocket a lot. That sets up plays like this draw play that they've had so much success with.
Here's the touchdown to Jason Teague at the Notre Dame game that got the Spartans the victory in overtime. And then they've got a wide receiver at 6'6", 227, and Matt Trannon, a big target.
Well, Matt Trannon also plays basketball at Michigan State. He's made a great contribution to their program there. And a big target, a guy that's got a very competitive guy, a guy that can make plays.
And defensive end Clifton Ryan is one of their big guys up front. David Herron's one of their good outside linebackers. And you really like safety Eric Smith, who you say he's having a great year.
Well, I think Smith has developed into one of the better safeties in the conference. Guy that's very physical, and he looks extremely quick. A guy that makes a lot of checks, does a lot of things other than just play good football. He's also a guy that holds that defense together.
One of the things about this game, though, the marquee matchup, if you will, is about their offense and Stanton and his ability to run, his ability to make plays that, you know, get out of the pocket when you have it defended. As a coach, how do you defend the quarterback that can do that?
Well, Jim, I think the truth is, you know, going in, when you're going to play Michigan State, you're going to have to score some points. I mean, you're not going to shut them out. They're just too good. They get too many weapons, and so You have to try to get some turnovers. I think that's the key if you can get a lot of people around the football, but that's not easy because you're spread out. But I think the big thing is you got to win the turnover battle, and you got to be able to run the football and try to keep their offense off the football field.
The other thing is that as much as it is scouting Michigan State and what they have done, and they're a very talented and very potent football team, it's about how you respond after this 2-2 start and 0-1 start in the conference, isn't it?
Well, I don't think there's any question that we've got to respond, and this it's never easy coming off a loss, and yet this is such a great rivalry that our guys will respond. They're going to come out and fight and play hard, and I know they will because I know the kind of people they are.
It's going to be a great football game. It's Michigan, Michigan State. It always is. It'll be in East Lansing, but we will be back here, same time, same place with Michigan Replay and replay the whole thing. Join us.